And we continue with our video sit-downs. Diedrich Allen off camera. On camera is Victoria Meadows. Now, she is a Mason County District Court judge, and you are running unopposed yet again. And I just want to take a couple of minutes to briefly tell everybody about you, your background, and why you're seeking re-election.
Hi, I'm Judge Victoria Meadows. I've been District Court Judge now for 20 years, and this will be my 5th election. And I am thankful and honored by the fact that I am unopposed again this year. I don't take it for granted. Any qualified lawyer has the opportunity and the right to run, and I appreciate the respect that I've been shown by my profession in that no one has sought to run against me this year. But as I say, I don't take it for granted. It's a very important position. District Court is a very active court. It's a people's court. We see thousands of cases every day, well, not every day, every year, hundreds every week, and we see people from just ordinary, regular folks to the most hardened criminals who happen to do something on a minor level.
So let's talk about the difference between district and superior court, because superior court seems to get all the attention because they have the big cases, but the district court is very important. And what is the role of the district court?
The district court handles a wide variety of cases, from the lower level criminal cases called misdemeanors or gross misdemeanors with a maximum penalty of 1 year in jail, $5,000 fine. The most common that the public hears about are assault fours, generally domestic violence, and driving under the influence. There are also several other crimes. In fact, I think if we were to count them up, it would be well over 100, but the most common ones we do see are the domestic violence, assault for, and driving under the influence. In addition to the criminal cases, we also handle civil cases up to $75,000 in value, small claims cases up to $5,000 in value, where people may bring actions in court for monetary damages without a lawyer. And interestingly enough, we average about $240 a year, and it hasn't gone up or down very much in the last 20 years that I've been judge. But it is a forum that's available for the public without the requirement of a lawyer. I also handle infractions. We have thousands of infractions, mostly traffic, but also some fishing violations, and domestic violence protections orders, anti-harassment protection orders. These are cases where people may come to the court with or without an attorney to seek protection of the court against someone who is causing them problems, whether it's physical harm or emotional harm. We also have now stalking laws, which provide access to people who believe that they're being stalked to protections from the court.
So while in office, what improvements have been made to better serve the county?
That's an interesting question. I think we'll start first with weapons screening. The security has improved in the Mason County Courthouse, and that's for district and superior court. And 2 years ago, a person who came to court would just walk in, may or may not have weapons. We've known people who've come in with knives. We've known people who came in with firearms on their ankles, and they did not necessarily mean to use those or intend to use those, but they were in the courthouse. And people who come to courthouse don't always want to be there, and some of them are quite violent, and we've heard of violence throughout the state in different courthouses. And so in an effort to reduce the risk of damage and harm, we've established the weapon screening. For many of you who come into the courthouse, you think, oh, this is an inconvenience. But for the rest of the folks who not only work in the courthouse, but the public who uses the courthouse, it is a safety measure to protect everybody and to reduce the risk of harm if somebody suddenly goes off and gets violent. There's still that risk. We still have people who get angry and are violent, but they don't have the access to the weapons when they're in the courthouse. So that is a very strong improvement that we've made. Another improvement is our facilities. District Court now has a courtroom in the basement of the courthouse, which looks like a courtroom. If you've ever served jury duty or come in for a traffic ticket, you look around and the original courtroom was okay, looked kind of like a courtroom, but didn't have a place for the jury to sit. We now have a jury box. We now have room in the courtroom so that everybody who's invited to their court hearings can come into the courtroom. And I'd invite you to come and tour the courthouse and see the changes. It's an improvement, and we're still working on making improvements. We have some space that we intend to, between Superior Court and District Court, turn into other courtroom spaces, because with the growing needs of the community, we need more judges. Superior Court will have another judge. We need a courtroom for that judge.
So what are the limitations in your office?
Time. I am a one-judge district. I have 1.5 judicial needs, and because I have a full staff, we do a pretty good job managing it, but there are days when we do run court through the lunch hour, sometimes after 5, and we're not able to give as much attention to each case as we should. And so at some point in time, we will be looking to funding from the county commissioners for a part-time judge to assist with the caseload. And I recognize the realities of the limitation of the budget, and to the extent that we can, we'll continue doing what we're doing. But we want to provide the best services possible in an efficient manner for the community, whether it's a person who's accused of a crime, whether it's a victim who's waiting to have their case heard by a court. And we do meet our speedy trial requirements, but we want to do a better job of serving the public as a whole in both criminal and civil arena. Another problem that we have is the jail, and it's a situation I want to educate the public on. I don't want to point fingers, but our jail was built in 1984. The state authorized funds to build a jail for the needs of 1984 without a look to the future. It is not big enough to handle the number of persons who are convicted of crimes, who need to be in jail, who've been sentenced. And currently, because of lack of staff, and they're working on trying to hire the staff, and the lack of space in the jail, we have dozens of people who are waiting to serve their jail sentences. And the jail says, we don't have room, have them call in. I have people who've been calling in since January who have not served their jail sentences. Some of these are mandatory jail sentences. They've been convicted of crimes multiple times, or while on probation, they haven't complied with electronic home monitoring. They haven't complied with probation, and they're still out in the community. And on the flip side of it, there's the public safety factor, and on the flip side of it is the human factor. The person who is trying to serve the jail time, some of them are working, and their employers are saying, well, we can't hold your job forever not knowing when you're going to come into jail. So that is a factor that the commissioners are trying to address, and we need the public's assistance. The public needs to be aware of what's going on so they can come in and they can encourage the commissioners and assist in finding a solution. We use alternative to sentencing. We use electronic home monitoring. For those who are able, we use some work release programs outside of the county. We do not have a work release program inside the county. We encourage treatment. Treatment is oftentimes the cruxus of the criminal's problems for alcoholism or drug abuse, and we try to encourage, and we order treatment as an option. But if a person just isn't doing what they're supposed to do, we need jail as a realistic option. And the quicker the punishment is served, the more meaningful it is. At some point, it becomes almost a joke to the criminals, the ones who would say, well, we know we're not going to get in jail, so we can do what we want. We can ignore your sentence. And it's an unfortunate thing. On the flip side, good news is most people who come through district court don't reoffend. For most people, it's their first contact with the court system. They did something stupid. It was criminal, and they learned from their mistake, and they learned from the process. But we do need methods to reinforce the accountability and the punishments that are imposed for those who just don't get it.
So other than what you've mentioned, is there anything else that needs improvement?
Probably.
Probably.
But those are the major. We need additional judge time. We need additional space. At some point, we're going to need a full courthouse, a new courthouse that takes everybody in. Right now, the county is holding court, sometimes in the commissioners' chambers, sometimes in the portable courthouse that's next to the main courthouse. Those buildings do not have the weapon screening or the security available to it, and at some time given the growth of the county. And this our courthouse is a nice building. It's a beautiful building in 1929. It met the needs of the community in 1929. It does not meet the needs in 2014, and we need to look at feasible solutions.
Is there anything new on the horizon that will impact your office, the way you operate your court, that you know of, that you're aware of right now?
I'm not aware of anything offhand. I do know in Superior Court we have a third Superior Court judge coming in, which is excellent. The community needs it. The community will benefit by it significantly. And although I don't think that'll impact my work much, I do serve as a pro tem for the Superior Court judge on occasion, and that's difficult given the fact that I'm also 1.5 judges in my own court. And I take all of the, I shouldn't say all, I take many of the night calls for search warrants, whether it's for felonies for Superior Court or for District Court, and protection orders, probable cause hearings in the middle of the night. And I don't know if the third judge is going to have an impact on my night business and workload. I'm kind of hoping that maybe they will.
Okay. Victoria Meadows, a Mason County District Court Judge, running for re-election unopposed. Thank you for taking some time.
Thank you.